Hello, and welcome to a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness video, where today we will be tackling the game with just the Blaziken line. Now this is currently the second in a three-part series, going over the Hoenn starters. So if you'd like to see part 1 with Swampert, you can look at it at the end of the video, or stay tuned for Sceptile coming up pretty soon. Now Blaziken I do think is going to do fairly well, but I don't think it's going to be as good as Swampert, simply because I think its typing isn't as good. But anyway, let's go ahead and see how it does. So for base stats, Torchic has 45 HP, 60 attack, 40 defense, 70 special attack, 50 special defense, and 45 speed, and gets a wide range of fighting, fire, flying, normal, and the best ground type move being Earthquake. So I could see it doing very well in the late game, but maybe struggling against the final boss and maybe a few other trainers throughout, especially water types. So with that, let's go ahead and move right on to our Torchic, which has a hasty nature, raising its speed and lowering its defense, which isn't the greatest, but at least it means that early on I might be able to outspeed some threats that would normally outspeed me. And for its ability, it has Blaze, which raises its fire-type moves when it's at low health. I think it's a third, but I'm not quite sure. And these are the 4 moves it gets according to Bulbapedia by level 10. Scratch, Growl, Focus Energy, and Ember. So not too bad. Anyway, I usually like to show off this battle specifically for weaker Pokemon, first stage Pokemon, because a lot of times they struggle here, and this is actually the second attempt. And that's because I didn't identify the right threat. I attacked the Abra like I normally would, but as it turns out, Horsey is definitely more dangerous than the Abra here. Even though the Abra has a chance to freeze me or paralyze me, on average it seems to attack the Teddiursa rather than me, whereas the Horsey will always attack me. Anyway, with that battle done, I move on to the next area of the game, and I get access to the move Peck at level 16. So I get rid of Growl, but more importantly, I also evolve into Combusken, which it's a little sad to see Torchic go so fast, but that's what happens when you start off at level 10 in these games. Anyway, at the same time, I also get access to the move Double Kick, which I'm going to teach right away as well. And I'm going to replace Focus Energy with it. And of course, with a new evolution means new stats. So it has 60 HP, 85 attack, 60 defense, 85 special attack, 60 special defense at 55 speed, and also gains the fighting typing, which comes in handy sometimes, but also there's a lot of Pokemon that like to use Confusion, Psywave, or Psychic in this game, so I could see that definitely holding it back. But I think overall it's a net positive. So with that, let's go ahead and move on. At the Power Rangers here, I decide to fight the Red Power Ranger first, because he has the Dark-type Houndour, which is weak to my double kicks, and as you can see I accidentally misclicked there and attacked Slugma. Hopefully that doesn't come back to hurt me. I'm able to one-shot the Houndour though. Ember takes me down fairly low, but I'm able to take down the Slugma. So I gain access to the Cypher base and completely blow through it with no real issue. So we go to Lovrina here. I go for double kick on the Love Disc, and it's not quite a one-shot, unfortunately. And both of these Pokemon actually have super effective damage against me, so the start of this battle is definitely very scary. And with that, we lose pretty quickly. So I decide to come right back into this battle, and this time I decide to target the Beautifly because it was doing more damage. So I can take it down in a single hit. Ember comes out and takes down the Roselia. Out comes Delcatty, who I hope is a one-shot. I go for double kick, and it is. And all that's left is the Love Disc. I should be able to take it down in 2 hits. Never mind, I got a crit, and I go ahead and teach Bulk Up at the end of this battle over Scratch. Of course, you can't have a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness video without the obligatory Mirror Bee. I lose this battle, by the way. As it turns out, when Ember is your best move, it's not great. Anyway, at the Realgam Tower, I pick up my 2 favorite TMs, Hidden Power and Protect, and I'm never actually going to teach Hidden Power, because it's not really worth it. Anyway, a little after that, I evolve into Blaziken, which is going to make the game probably a lot easier, because Blaziken is pretty decent. And of course, I get access to the move Blaziken. Now it's a pretty good move, but it only has 90% accuracy, so it can be a little unreliable. But of course, with an evolution, means new stats. So 80 HP, 120 attack, 70 defense, 110 special attack, 70 special defense, and 80 speed. The speed stat going up quite a bit will help in some of those final areas. And being pretty strong on both the physical and special stats is really good. I do kind of worry about its defenses though, because a lot of the endgame bosses are going to be doing a ton of damage to me. Anyway, it's not time for that yet. We have a fight against Snattle, who leads with a Lantern and a Quagsire. I go for double kick, which isn't quite a one-shot on Lantern, so I think one more level should be able to take it down in a single hit. Out comes his first Shadow Pokemon, Shadow Lantern, and a Rock Tomb hits. Hopefully I'm not slower than it. I'm not, but unfortunately a single double kick isn't enough to take it down, which might just need another level as well. And I go for one more to try to take it down, but I lose. So I come back to this fight a level higher, and Lantern is in fact a one-shot. Out comes the Lunatone. Now I'm not quite sure if this will be a one-shot, but it looks to be fairly close to it. Fruity Pebbles rain down. I go for double kick to go ahead and finish off the Lunatone, because it's going to be doing a lot of damage. Another Rock Tomb. Fruity Pebbles again. I go for double kick into the cast form and take it down in a single hit. Out comes Matang. And I'm going to use Blaziken's coolest move for the only time you're ever going to see, Blaze Kick, and I take it down in a single hit. All that's left is the Quagsire, which I should be able to take down. And double kick, I get a crit. Okay, well that was pretty easy. On the SS Libra, I go ahead and delete Blaze Kick for Flamethrower because it's just more reliable. And right before the next fight, I go ahead and teach Protect over Peck. So let's go ahead and fight Gonzap. Now he leads with an Electrode and a Nuzleaf. The Nuzleaf is always going to use Fake Out on the first turn, so I protect to make sure I don't get paralyzed by the Electrode, but it seems to be going for Sonic Boom here, which wouldn't be so bad. Hyper Beam comes out doing a little bit of damage. I go for another Flamethrower to take down the Vileplume, and then out comes Whiscash. Now this could possibly do a lot of damage to me if I'm not able to take it down, and I'm not, but it just goes for a Rock Tomb and misses, so I'm able to take it down with ease. Out comes Skarmory. This should be a one-shot with Flamethrower, which it is, and then all that's left is the Nuzleaf, which goes for one last Hyper Beam, but it's not enough, and I take it down. So Gonzap was pretty easy. At the top of the pyramid, I get access to the move Earthquake, which I'm going to teach right away over the move Bulk Up, because that move's kind of hard to actually use. Anyway, against Gorgon here, his whole gimmick is Protect and Earthquake. But now I also have Earthquake, so I'm just going to spam Earthquake. I take down the Lairon and the Slowking in a single hit. And then out comes Ursaring and his first Shadow Pokemon, Shadow Primeape, which should be a one-shot with Earthquake. Which it is. And then his last Pokemon is a Shadow Hypno. And suffice it to say, oh, never mind, a single Earthquake didn't take it down. Okay, well, double kick. Anyway, with that we now move on to the final area of the game, and I'm not going to spoil it yet, but we are doing pretty good. So we move on to the next boss of the game, which is Lovrina, and luckily we are a male, so I don't need to worry about the Roselia or the Gardevoir using Attract on me. And so I can focus on the Farfetch to take it down, because it's definitely the bigger threat here. And out comes Shadow Altaria. The Roselia uses Leech Seed. I go for double kick, forgetting that it's not very effective, but also I don't really have a better move. It's between that and Flamethrower. I decide to try Flamethrower here, which also doesn't quite take it down. And I'm getting pretty low, so I need to take down the Roselia here, and hopefully not get taken down by the Altaria. Shadow Break takes me down to 7, and I'm able to take it down. So Lovrina first try. I then at level 59 learn Sky Uppercut, which I'm going to teach right away over Double Kick. Unfortunately, it does only have 90% accuracy, but it'll do a lot more damage. And at the top of the mountain, I run into Snattle once again. Now I go for Earthquake, take down the Matang and the Quagsire. Out comes Solrock and Scizor. Solrock is going to set up Shadow Sky, which I don't really want, so I go for Sky Uppercut. Luckily it hits. I'm able to take it down in a single hit. Aerial Ace does a little bit of damage to me, so I'm going to use Protect here to heal it off. And use another Earthquake. I do get a crit on the Scizor, which I think I might have needed for a one-shot. And now to see if the Starmie's faster than me. I go for Earthquake, I outspeed, and take it down. First try. So we move on to Ardos. Now this one I could definitely see being a little harder, especially considering what happened to Swampert here. But I'm able to take down the Alakazam because I outspeed the Swellow. And it goes for Shadow Sky. I go for Protect, and it goes for Shadow Break. Fruity Pebbles rain down. I go for another Earthquake just to take down the Kingdra. Heracross comes out, and another Shadow Break, and that's actually doing quite a bit of damage, nearly half my health in a single hit. So I go for Protect here just to stall out another turn of Fruity Pebbles. And I decide to get rid of the Heracross here. Definitely not the right approach. I should have gotten rid of the bird, because right here, it crits, and I get taken down. So I go back into the battle again, same start, take down the Alakazam, sets up Shadow Sky. On the second turn, I go for Protect, just as before, except this time it goes for Shadow Half, which is definitely a better start, because now it won't be able to attack this next turn. So I go for Earthquake to take down the Kingdra. Out comes the Heracross. And this time I learn from my mistake of the last battle and take down the Swellow after I waste a turn of Fruity Pebbles, of course, so I can start healing later on. But take down the Swellow, and then out comes Electabuzz. Now I am at risk of being slower than this because the Rock Tomb hits, and if I am slower than Electabuzz, it'll do a lot of damage. Luckily, I'm able to take it down in a single hit, but not quite the Heracross. Out comes Snorlax. Now this thing is a big threat, and I'm now slower than the Heracross here, which is a bit scary if I'm not able to take it down. Snorlax takes about half, Heracross goes down, and now to see how much it does, and Shadow End actually doesn't hit, so I'm able to take it down with relative ease. Second attempt, not bad. We move on to Gorgon once again, still using the same idea as last time, just Protect and Earthquake. So I'm just going to keep using Earthquake. Except for on this turn, I'm going to Protect here because I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. And the Aggron actually Earthquakes its own partner, which is nice because now I'm guaranteed to one-shot it. Wasn't sure if I would have been before. Out comes Poliwrath. Now I don't think I will one-shot this. No, not quite. But it's just going to set up Shadow Sky, which really isn't going to do anything. So I go for one more Earthquake, and take down the Mr. Mime and the Poliwrath. And beat Gorgon first try. Now I will say this is currently second attempt on Eldest, simply because it's basically the same as the first fight, except I learned a couple things. One is that Settlements is actually a two-shot if I use Flamethrower, which I'm going to do here. And yeah, it takes it down to about half. So I go for another Protect here. And one more Flamethrower takes down the Settlements. And the other thing is that as long as the Flygon uses Double Edge, a single Sky Uppercut will take it down. So I go for Sky Uppercut here. And I miss. Thanks 90% accuracy. Anyway, that might have actually worked in our favor because I'm going to heal a bit. So I go for another Sky Uppercut, take it down, and then out comes the second thing I learned. So Marowak actually survives an Earthquake at half health, so I decide to go for Flamethrower here to take it down, which it does. And then out comes his last Pokemon, which is a Shadow Lapras. Now luckily this will always set up Shadow Sky on the first turn, so it's not that big of a threat right off the bat. And that's why I decided to take down Ninjask, because it can do constant, decent damage to me. And one Sky Uppercut takes it down. So we move on to the big box legendary, Shadowlugia. And yeah, I just wasn't paying attention here. Sky Uppercut's not very effective, so I end up taking a lot of damage. Go for a Protect to heal up what I can, and realize Flamethrower would have done more than half, and I would have been none of this fight had I actually been paying attention. One more Protect just to get up to half health, and Flamethrower takes it down. So we move on to the final boss of the game, Greevil, and he leads with a Moltres and a Rhydon. And Sky Uppercut's not doing even half to the Moltres, and I'm taken down pretty quickly. So I decide to make a detour, go back down to the Tutor Lady, and pick up Body Slam. I don't think it's going to one-shot the Moltres, but at least it'll be doing better damage, and it'll do more damage to the other birds as well. Not quite a one-shot. I do get a paralysis though, so that's good. And unfortunately I do get hit by both of them. This is currently attempt number 5, by the way. And I go for an Earthquake here to take down the Rhydon. The paralysis actually kicks in. I go for a Protect here to heal up what I can. And I take down Moltres. Out comes Tauros, which lowers my attack with Intimidate. Shadow Wind misses. I go for Flamethrower to take down the Tauros before it can set up Shadow Sky. Out comes Articuno. Shadow Wind hits, taking me very low. I go for Protect. Shadow Chill. Shadow Wind. I go for a Flamethrower, which I know will take down the Articuno. I level up to level 79. Shadow Wind misses. I go for another Protect. Now, I don't think I'm able to take down the Zapdos in a single hit, except I am, which is surprising. And it misses another Shadow End, and Executor goes down, and I beat Greevil on the 5th attempt. So that's pretty good. How does that put it on the tier list, though? Well, let's go over its statistics real quick. It finished the game in 7 hours, 3 minutes, and 48 seconds at level 79, and fainted 12 times. Now, what I think kind of held it back was the fighting typing and the fire typing. You know, it had a lot of difficulty actually dealing with water types or dragon types. And a few other types it definitely kind of struggled with. But overall, I think it did very well. Nah, I'm just messing with you. This is the best performing Pokemon I've ever used. This thing did 30 minutes faster than Kangaskhan. And it's a line of Pokemon. You start from a weak baby Torchic and work your way up to a strong Pokemon. It's incredible what it's done here, because I didn't think this was going to be better than Swampert, but it outperformed it hands down, had way less losses, and just did amazing. I think it only really struggled against a few enemies, specifically a few trainers with water types, and it really only lost to, a handful of trainers, and a couple of those were just confusion luck. So, yeah, apparently Blaziken is amazing. So currently it holds the top of SS tier. I think other Pokemon will be joining it at some point, but at this point, it is the best Pokemon in the entire game currently. So, that's pretty cool. So anyway, with that, be sure to check out the Sceptile video coming up. It's not going to do nearly as well, I don't think. And if you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. Put down Pokemon suggestions down below, and bye!